Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 321 at scavengerlife.com.
We've had a very stressful week
Yes.
that we've taken upon ourselves. We've been talking about this is recently. You know, when you are, running your own businesses, running your own life, things build up.
Yes.
And it's always driven by the fear of, what if we mess up?
What if we mess up?
There's
Yep.
no safety net
What if
for
we
us.
do it wrong?
If we do this wrong and it all fails, there's no one to pick us up, to give us a check, to pay us, to,
Right.
to do anything. So how do you fight against that? I mean, you as in the people out there.
How do you people...
Because I'm going to tell you how I do it.
Okay. I want to know how you do it.
Right?
I do.
Okay, number one, making a list will set you free.
This is true.
Isn't that true?
It takes it off your mind.
I mean, think about it. When you work for someone else, they basically give you a list for you.
Yeah, they have the list going.
Like,
yeah.
it's, I worked in restaurants a lot when I was in college, high school, college, and a bit in my early 20s, and a lot of organized places, they had a list, You come in, you chop this, you prep this, you cook this, then you clean this, and they give you a list. And, as I worked up into the ranks of just getting jobs, I mean, even those kind of jobs had a list, like when I worked at a TV station, they probably had one for...
Yep, I always had a list,
It's prep these tapes, cut this bumper,
exactly.
do this. And I did have jobs where they didn't give me a list anymore as you get higher up, as they expect you to make a list for the job, for their work. You know? So I've learned for us to run our businesses successfully, especially eBay, it's about making lists.
Yes.
Lots of lists. Like, you'll see me often when I'm on... It's my phone.
Yes.
And I'm not chatting on Facebook.
No,
you're making a list. And oftentimes I'm taking a list that's gotten too big and making a list for that list. Isn't that crazy? But why is that important? Because that takes the stress off of my head. Like, I'm not having a million things in my head
that you have to remember,
competing, and like I'm gonna forget them. I just write it down, and then I'm like, all right.
And then you check it,
and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this one thing, and focus on that, and know that everything's okay,
No, that's a very good point.
Like, you've been pretty stressed out this week. Been kind of moments where I've caught you where you've been in the middle of being overwhelmed.
Where I'm just like, I'm like a chicken with its head cut off. There have been so many times this week where I'm like, Jay, just tell me what to do.
And you know what?
Tell me what to do, what needs to get done next. Because I have like 7 things I'm thinking of doing.
Those are like magic words to me. I love when you're willing to.
Because most of the time I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Because I don't think you even realize I have a list for you. Like,
I realize that. Trust me. There is no doubt in my mind.
I have a list where, like, when Orion is ready,
me.
Like, it's like I'm programming a computer. Like, all right, Ryan's like the best computer I know. Let me program it to do these things.
And most of the time, I'm like, I don't care what's on your list. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
what to
it's
do.
like, like I try to program the computer, and it's like error. You know?
Exactly. User error.
Shocking me. Okay, but and even when we started doing eBay, just quick, it's wrap up for people that don't know. 2008 economy was bad.
Yep.
We were kind of struggling. We went to a thrift store, found a jacket. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to sell on eBay? And Ryan's like, I know how to sell on eBay, and we sold it. And then you started to start an eBay business without. I wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, I just knew what to do.
And, for like a couple of months, you were just, getting 10 things at a time.
Yep.
And then, I don't know. And then, I was like, can I help you?
You know what?
You know what it was? Yeah. It's what it was. I was like, holy moly, things are really, doing well. And selling. I was like,
what if both of us are?
I can help you.
Yeah.
I kind of saw, I saw the mess and I was like, I can make a list for this. Well, and that's what I started to do.
Totally.
Lists in piles, like both those things.
You know what's funny, though? I do want to point out, the reason we started, and this is you and your lists and your numbers, you were like, if 30% of the things you sold, the things you put up, sell, we'll keep going. Because I would do 10 things at a time.
Right.
If 3 of those things sell, we'll keep going. And they did.
It was different too. We were doing only auctions, so
and really cheap,
like $9.99 auctions.
But they did, but it worked. You know,
it was definitely it's more of a grind. Okay,
yeah.
The other thing, lists. I've said that, and I think anyone that doesn't, you know, and also just to be clear, it's not just about is making a list. It's an making a list happen
and crossing things off. Yeah, that's the satisfying part. You're like, look, in my office, I have a notepad next to my computer, and anytime I have a list, I write it down with a pen, and then I cross it off. And as things get crossed off, I rip the piece of paper off and I recycle it. So
I have a list every day. I do as much as I can, and then at the end of the night before I go to bed, I look at what hasn't been done and then add it to the next day's a list. It's what I do, and I love it, and it helps me sleep at night.
Good.
Sometimes as you don't sleep well, do you think that would help you?
I think I don't sleep well for other reasons, not just because of
existential problems.
Yeah, well, that and it's just like
why am I alive?
Yes. But also, like, will the dishwasher that we installed, that we bought on Craigslist, work after we paid so much money to have it custom installed?
Right.
And the answer was no. But I read the manual, and now I know why. But still, it's things like that keep me up at night. Yeah. It's not like a to-do list. It's like, will this thing work?
Yeah, but
is it wrong?
I guess my point is, I'll have issues like that too. But then I'm like, all right, I have this problem, or I'm confused. I'll put it on a list to check it, research it, or ask.
No, that's true.
Someone that knows, and now I can sleep.
That's true.
Okay, its next thing is organizing.
Yes.
And I want to be clear, we've talked about it before, a lot of it's running an eBay business is like storage, do you have enough room in at your home or in a shed or somewhere, so it's not storage, just that, but like before we did this podcast, we're like taking furniture, we're like taking stuff out of our house to go to this other house we've done, and a lot of it is just it's just about taking stuff and it's moving it around. And I find that true with eBay, We take it from the thrift store to our home, we sort it, then we take those piles and take it to where we take photos. And then once we take photos, we take that pile and where it gets stored.
Yep.
I mean, it's about being Tetris organized, where you can like fit things into holes and places.
Yep. And then from storage you bring it to ship.
Right.
That's the last piece.
Right. And I love that problem too.
Yep. And right now we are dealing with that because we are trying, first of all, we are getting stuff off our front porch that is furniture for the renovation so that we can get bins from our other storage to our house, because I have to be driving over to our farmhouse sheds to get stuff almost every morning. And it's a
and I love having to solve that.
Yeah, and that problem can get solved.
And I think
it will
for
get solved.
People who write us or people that call in who talk about having those problems of where to put all their stuff, or their store has gone up to 500 items and now they're overwhelmed, or they've just been buying too much. It's all about learning how to put stuff up in a way that's not going to fall in on you, When
you say, it's funny, you use this term, put it up, which means in a Northeastern person's language, put it away.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be eating and you're like, can I put these up? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if that's a Southern thing or a Texas thing. It means put it away, like put it back in the refrigerator.
Put it up.
So that's what he meant.
It's like saying, shut up.
Shut up.
Also, its next thing is building friendships or its relationships with people. And that's, maybe it less to do with eBay. Although that's true, like, at thrift stores and people that flea markets, building its relationships. It's with them.
With other sellers.
But I've known it's really true in us. It's renovating houses.
Oh my God.
It's relationships. It's with the right craftspeople or handyman
and
or
keeping those relationships not,
Because it really does make our projects it's more fun when we enjoy the people we're around, or if we attract people who are good communicators.
Like yesterday. Yesterday's a good example. We had two people helping us. I mean, this was on a Saturday. put up curtain rods.
I mean, and also too, to be clear, 2 people we were paying.
We're paying, yeah. Like, yes.
Yeah.
And it's
2
great.
people, and they're helping us put up the curtain hangers. Put up.
See, okay, that's a different way of saying it now, because it was, put up curtain rods. And help us put legs, custom legs on couches and stuff like that. And it's so great because you're like, you enjoy working with them. And one of them was our eBay helper. I was hiring her to help us like get the house together, which she's great at. And it's awesome. You're like, okay, help me solve this problem. I don't know how to solve it. I need another brain. And she totally did it.
Right.
Like,
I was so proud of you. Really.
What?
And don't think that's condescending for me to say that. I
What?
just loved seeing you say, "Can you help me?"
Yeah.
Like, that's such a big deal.
Well, I bought these custom legs for this IKEA couch because the IKEA legs were so ugly, but they weren't the exact right length. And we were just kind of like, how do we make this work? And I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. Like, what do you think we should do? And she totally figured it out. And I was like, you saved my day because I've been losing sleep over IKEA couch legs. And they look beautiful. Yay.
And that's been true for all the guys we're working with.
Yes.
Yes. We probably pay more. I mean, I guess we could get away with not paying as much for the work we've had done. But I think things would not be as nice or as good as they are.
Well, the other thing too is, like we said, in a way, we're designing on the fly. And I don't mean like structurally, like that's obviously drawn out and permitted and stuff, but stuff inside, we're like, help me solve this problem.
Right.
But
I just think in general, it's not even specifically about its project, but I think that the right people can solve problems quicker and it's better.
More elegantly.
Than if you're always trying to, it's nickel and dime people,
Oh, look, we have a friend who's built a house from scratch, and he does that to people where he's like, I'm only going to pay you this much. I want to be your apprentice. I want you to show me what to do so that I can just do it myself. And, like, no one will work for him. They're like, what?
Yeah, like our carpenter, he told me he worked for a woman where she was doing this thing where she would put different hourly prices on different projects because she thought that
one should be cheaper.
Yeah, like to put up curtains, I'm going to give you $10 an hour, but if you build cabinets, I'll give you $20 an hour. And
that is so insulting.
Like, whatever.
Did he do it, or was he like?
I think it's one of those things where he probably worked as much as he felt like made sense and then didn't. But that's the other problem. Like if you don't treat people well,
those people will never.
I mean, and if people don't treat me well, like if we work for people,
because we're not feeling people.
We're being treated well, But but I think that's why I love being in our county. We live in a rural county. I guess people would say it's a poor county. It's not a rich county.
No, it's not at all.
But I love it because we know so many people here. And as we stay here and get to know people, like if we need anything done, I now have a list of people that I can call to make happen.
Or a list of people who know people who can help you figure it out. Hey, do you know this person?
There's nothing better than that.
Yep. Get a recommendation.
Okay, this week, as Ryan has been talking about, our store has basically been on autopilot, our eBay store,
It's been doing well.
Again, yeah, and we had a great week, but we've been busy getting this house. Like, we're now pulling furniture into it,
We're cleaning and putting furniture in and making the bed.
My sister comes in 2 days, so people will be sleeping there and living in it.
It's going great. It looks great.
And honestly, when we have these kind of weeks, it's great that our store keeps pumping out the cash. Because, I mean, that's what I always say.
Good God.
Our eBay store is like an ATM where it just keeps pumping out the cash, which is great. But
and the other thing, like we talk about spinning plates, I have to make sure that stuff is shipping on time. And I've been...
You're good at that.
I am. But it's like I really have to make that a priority because it does make us money. I cannot slack on that. Yeah. So I wake up super early and... get it done. Awesome. I enjoy it. It's just I have to make sure that is, important. That's what's making me tired.
But when we have these busy weeks, and we talked about this. I just want to go back to photographing and a listing on eBay.
Oh my God. Like, that is like the most chill. Like, I still have all these scheduled listings because I haven't had time to list them. I'm just like, what it would be like to sit in my office and list stuff on eBay.
Yeah, when, and we do it too, when you're just doing eBay, we can get into a funk where we're like,
you're like, it's a grind, but I'm tired.
The best thing to do is to work on a project that's not eBay, and then you'll wish to go back to those days where you can just like listen to the radio.
Like the great thing is when the renovation is done and the house is being rented and our other house is being rented, I mean, really, all we have to do is laundry. I'm like, to just do laundry is my dream.
Sip a cup of coffee
and throw some wash in the dryer. Yeah. Like, it's just, but we've set it up like that. Like we have a great cleaner. Yep. You're great at meeting people.
Well, thank you.
You are. You're good at doing the tour. Anyway,
and so right now we have our home. And in our home are 2 homes it's worth of its furniture. We've been gathering stuff for this other place for the past 12 months or so.
It's like couches on top of couches.
Yeah,
literally.
I mean,
that is
and
true.
they have to be covered in sheets so our cats don't sleep on them and scratch them.
Yeah.
On our front porch, there's tables, and so we're slowly bringing that stuff over there. So we've probably spent, I would say, about $5,000 to furnish that other house.
That sounds right. 5,000 seems high to me.
It seems high?
But,
I was being generous, yeah.
Oh, really?
But, that's pretty good if you think about an entire house, from like a house that has it's nothing in it to beds,
fully furnished,
couches, tables,
curtains,
all
blah, blah,
the doodads and stuff like
mattresses.
Mattresses. Yeah.
And that stuff adds up. But the great thing is appliances. Yep. I think 5,000 is probably
Yeah. Because we have spent some things aren't cheap, like $500 for a bed. I mean, which is a good deal, but
with
still
a mattress,
$500.
though.
Yeah.
That's the beauty.
And the good thing is, anything at the end of the day, we'll take everything over there, put stuff where it needs to go, and then anything we don't put in the house, we'll sell it. On eBay.
Yeah, like exactly. Or you keep it for your next project, or that's the great thing is like there's definitely like I've had to change out a light fixture like 3 times in one place.
Right, and just and that's the thing about being a scavenger is that you can find good stuff, don't hide it away, then put it to good, it's put it in a place where it needs to be, and if not, then just sell it online.
That's the great thing about doing this is that we gather things over time, and anything we don't use, we're like, just sell it on eBay. Yeah. Like, you're not going to lose that money. So I love that.
I do too.
I absolutely do.
And really, and I don't know, I don't think maybe you've allowed it yourself to have its feeling yet, but there's no better feeling of having an idea and then it's making it happen. And like, this house is almost done, and ours has been 6 years ago we had this idea to use our eBay as profits to start a rental business. Yep. We got one, we're doing another one, and it's taken us 6-8 years now of a lot of work and
money.
It's money, and we're almost done, and it's really all thanks to selling on eBay.
It's crazy.
It's love amazing. Yeah. Thank you, eBay.
Thanks, eBay.
Okay, our store. We had a good week of sales. It's kind of slowed down at the end of the week for some reason, but
I don't know what was up with that. I don't know if it's like last vacation.
Yeah, but overall, it was a great week. I'm going to hold off on its numbers. We have a couple more things to talk about. This week someone bought an item that could get shipped. It was like a big pot hanger.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty big and expensive to ship. And so they told us, I'll give you, it's this price, but I'll come and pick it up, so don't charge me
shipping. Right. Yeah, so the great thing is, so they were like, please send me an invoice with $0 shipping and I'll come pick this up. And I was like, how should I do it? Should I say it's ground shipping with $0 shipping? But then I saw on the drop-down list that you can actually change it to local pickup, which I didn't realize you could do like after. Which is interesting because I wonder what happens when they pay. Like, do I get dinged for shipping? Like, does it switch it over to local pickup? Obviously, I'll call eBay and be like, please don't ding me on late shipping.
Because this person has not been very good at telling us when they're going to come. I mean, they bought it. They haven't paid yet.
Right.
But they say they're going to pick it up, but they haven't told us when.
Right.
And so we'll see.
So hopefully that is going to work out. They seem like they want it. They got a good price. I took a half-price offer on it, so.
Another thing about people that sell on eBay, so, there are these people that they don't drop ship.
Right.
But they list things that they don't actually have in their inventory. So we know of these people who sell IKEA stuff.
Yeah, so here's what happens. A lot of times we'll see something at IKEA and it's discontinued, or they don't have it in stock at that store. It's curtains or curtain rods.
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
for instance, if we went to IKEA to buy a bunch of stuff. We found a pair of curtains that we loved. They were out of them because they don't make them anymore.
Even though they were on display.
So I stood there and I went on eBay and found a woman that had them and I bought them right there.
Right. So the issue was that night she was like, I'm sorry I don't have these in stock. And in my mind, number one, I searched her location and I looked to see how close the IKEA was, and it was super close to her house,
right.
Or her town.
Right, and so there isn't anything. There isn't anything wrong with that. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't live, it's near an IKEA. You're basically paying somebody else to go to IKEA for you and ship it to you, because the IKEA itself won't ship everything.
Everything. They ship some things, but they won't ship everything. And so the second person we bought these curtains from actually did have them in stock. They must have bought 10 pair. And she's also super close to an IKEA. I checked. It's
just an interesting business. It's model though,
right? And so if you look at their store, I looked at both their stores, and it was 1,000 IKEA items. It was just, I'm like, that's purely. They just go to IKEA a couple times a week, buy stuff, and ship it out.
And I think
which is amazing.
I think its margin was if IKEA had them in stock. I think we paid about $15 over what we could have bought them at IKEA.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm just trying to think. I guess that would be a good business model if you. I don't know. It just seems like it'd be a lot. It just a
lot of trouble
for the amount of time to drive, to park, to go in, to get everything, to pack it. Is it worth $15 an item? Maybe.
Well, but if you think about it. You don't have to take pictures of anything because they're using all IKEA catalog pictures.
And then just copy and pasting.
Yeah, just copying and pasting text.
Yeah, well, that part totally it makes sense. I guess just the part of just,
the whole thing.
Still, it's not like drop it's shipping where people do all that, where they just copy and paste stuff.
They don't drive anywhere.
And then if someone buys something, they just go on another website and say, ship
Send,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Amazon FBA, we have liquefied it.
Liquidate.
Yeah.
Liquidate.
Ryan, you found out how to do that.
Yeah,
right?
so there is a link. I had to chat their Amazon FBA rep to figure out how to even get the link. They sent me the link on how to liquidate everything. And the funny thing is, you don't have to liquidate everything one by one. But you can only do 25 items at a time. So I had 20 pages.
We had 500 items.
Yeah, it was basically 500 items. So I had to liquidate. It didn't take that long, but if you have more than that, you're going to be like, this is going to take all day.
Right, so Amazon, gives you a choice. If you want to get rid of our store, or we have our store, but of our inventory, we can either...
send it back,
to destroy it, or a liquidate it. And a liquidate is supposedly they put it all into one big cart and then auction it off, and then it give you a percentage of that. I mean, it won't be anything, but the good thing is I hope we don't have to lose cash,
right?
Because those first two, if they mail them to you.
They charge you.
Destroy them. It's 50 cents an item.
They charge you for each one of those. Yeah. So. And liquidate, you might even break even or just,
So it's officially the end of our FBA experiment. We just never made enough money for the work we were putting into it.
And it was detrimental to our eBay store.
Yeah, I mean,
I found.
Right, some people say they can do both, and if they can, that's awesome. We just found, like, a year ago, our summer was horrible on
so
eBay.
Bad.
Because I think we were putting so much money into FBA that...
so much time. Not a lot of money, but...
Right, and so I think, like, on FBA, $2,000 a month was our best that as we ever did. In 2000, and we didn't do much better on eBay.
Yeah.
And that was tough, and it just wasn't consistent enough, because then we'd have a $500 a month or a $600 a month, and, you know... So anyway, it just wasn't... You know, I kept thinking if we put more and more work into Amazon FBA, that we would start getting as much money as we did on eBay, and that just had not been true.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bunch of people in its forum at eBay Open.
Yes.
And they have been writing to us.
Yep, I want to hear more. So eBay Open is over.
It's over now?
Yeah, it was last week.
I thought it was like a 2-week thing.
No, it's 1 week. It's pretty long, though. It's several days. I mean, it's several days.
And people were talking about how they were announcing the guaranteed its shipping program.
Guaranteed
and
delivery or whatever.
Yeah, and there's like a beta program. So
yeah.
It's and someone, TSAT, he confirmed that eBay told him that if they ship on time and it gets scanned correctly, and it gets to the person, if there's a problem, eBay will pick up the payment to its buyer.
That, you know, that's incredible.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, because I feel like that a weak link is the post office. You know, if they don't scan it, or if the package gets delayed.
or it gets delayed by like 3 days, which certainly happens. You know what's weird though? It's funny. It's like if my packages get picked up at my house, they get scanned. But if I drop them off at the post office and they scan them in front of me and give me a receipt, that scan does not show up on eBay. I'm like,
wow.
How does that work?
Right.
And I hear that from other people.
Yeah.
So it's things like that you're like, is that really going to work?
And they also have a photo search that they announce as well, where I guess you'll be able to take a photo of an item.
Yeah.
And then it's just like on Amazon, and then they tell you, like, it somehow can, through AI, then give you a listing on eBay and show you how much they sell for and what the item is and all that.
That would be...
Yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is cool. It just sounds like they're just doing a lot of stuff like Amazon. Yeah. And I guess TSAT was saying that he was told that 80% of stuff bought on eBay is new. It's new stuff.
And it's drop shipped off Amazon. Yeah, which is basically true. Everything I buy new on eBay comes to me in Amazon packaging.
I find like those kind of people who sell just like a retail, or not even a retail arbitrage, they're just buying wholesale stuff in China. They just copy their stores. They have an Amazon store, an eBay store. They probably have a Shopify store.
And they fulfill through Amazon,
so
which
it's
I've done before.
all the same stuff. And then they're just like whoever, and then they just sell to whoever they come to from different places.
They just use Amazon as their warehouse,
So it's just such a different experience from how I experience eBay. You know, to me, eBay's all about just old, used items. You know, and there's still plenty of money in that.
And there's
market,
still plenty. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I know that eBay knows that. I've heard that from eBay like executives that they recognize that.
And we've been buying stuff on Amazon and on eBay for it's just other house, like little doodads and things that we need, household items. Yeah. And the way I shop, it's all about price. It's just like lowest price. Like, because everyone has the same exact thing.
If
like,
it's a new thing, lowest price.
They're all buying from the same exact Chinese factory.
Right.
So the only thing that I have to pick from is just price. And, and people fool around with like, well, that one's free shipping, but it's $5 more. That one charges to ship, but it's, and so it's just like, it's like a 10-cent difference, Right. I mean, it would have whirled.
Yep. Consumerism.
Okay, let's talk about the numbers.
Yes, I'm very curious.
Okay, so this week in our main store, we made $2,700, almost on the dot.
That is
$2,700.96.
That's crazy.
It's because we sold a couple of really large
high dollar items. Yeah,
like one was $875. So that was a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
And our average price was about $47. We sold
good average price.
Almost at 60 items.
Good
so that's
God.
great.
Yeah.
In a second store, we sold 14 items for $334.
Yeah, that's a lot of items.
So that store just kind of cranks along. I mean, we did not scavenge all week long.
No, we did not list all week long.
It's our second week of not scavenging,
not
a listing. We haven't done that in a while either. But we sold. So we sold a mattress for $875. We had bought it cheap for its rental, but we got a better one on Craigslist.
Yeah, and so the thing is, this mattress is memory foam. So as you guys might have seen at some stores, like they even have them at Walmart, they're super like vacuum suctioned in a box. So they're shippable. We didn't even open it yet. So we're like, oops, we don't need this. Listed on eBay, sold within a couple days because I literally was like lowest price on eBay.
Yep.
Because we got it for a good deal. So that got shipped out.
And then we sold a bunch of stuff from so we talked about it before, a cache, like where we'll go and we'll buy like a big box of one thing.
Yeah.
And then we sort it out and sell that stuff. So we were selling a bunch of stuff from those caches. We sold a couple of, it's more hymnals.
Yes, we had a huge box of hymnals.
I got a big box of hymnals for cheap.
And they're almost gone.
It's $15 each.
Or $12 each even.
$12.91.
$12.97. Yeah, and so I have like 4 of those left.
Yep. We sold a couple of paint by its numbers. I bought a whole stack of them for $1. And we sold 2 or more of those.
I can't believe... I mean, there were so many paintings in that stack for 99 cents at Goodwill. We were just like, oh my God.
Yep. We sold a set of clipboards,
Yeah, 7. We had 7 clipboards. Where did we get those?
Well, I mean, so it was $12. So it's not it's a big deal. That something like that just simply makes me feel good. I was at a thrift store. They had a big box. And I found these, and they're kind of older. It's a kind where someone comes up to at your door and is like taking info. And
it's like the census or something.
I was like, someone's gonna buy those.
And you know what? I think it was a prop house that bought them, which is awesome. Funny, you know. But I would think a prop house would need something like that, like to keep track of stuff.
Yep. We sold some more of the buttons because we had that big box.
I have this huge box of buttons. And the great thing is, this was the last, huge lot of them. Like, basically, it was like, I sorted all the buttons. I was like, these are really cool nice. Ones, yeah, these are the expensive buttons in these 2 little, shoebox things. And then there was this huge pile of, kind of okay vintage ones. And I'm like, I'll sell them all for cheap. That lot sold. Thank God, because it's just sitting in a bag on my, desk.
And we sold a single one for $25.
Yep, it was a Chanel. It was a Chanel button.
Chanel. And then our caches of all we sold some old it's nails, it's square cut nails.
It wasn't actually the last of it. I have another size that I still have. We sold 5 pounds of the last of this one size of old fashioned square cut nails.
It's $50.
Yep.
And we bought 2 boxes of them for $5 for both of them.
Yeah.
But that was 5.
It was years ago.
Okay, so
auction. Here's the deal with the nails. It was 50 pounds a box. Okay, so it was 100 pounds of nails. We sold them for $10 a pound. That's $1,000. Right. You made $1,000.
And we bought both of them for $5.
Yeah, at an auction. Nobody wanted them. So, over 5 years.
Yeah, patience. That is definitely the long tail of the long tail. But, it's one of those things.
That's not a bad, return.
That's basically, paid for our phone bill for 5 years,
Yeah, basically.
Okay, customer issues. A woman bought a rug from us.
Yes.
She got the rug. She said it was fine. I love the colors. But I want a partial refund on this because I don't really feel like I should have paid as much as I did.
Right. So she's like,
I'm like, that's not how this works. Like,
no, like
you can't just decide you paid too much.
She paid $100. It was a wool rug. She's like, this is more of a $25 rug. We're like, first of all, we disagree. Second of all, you can return it.
Actually, I didn't say that. I simply said, send it back.
Send it back.
Yeah. And so she says, okay. And so we'll see if she
waiting.
actually.
I see no tracking on it, so I have to see what's going on with that. But
watch that 5 days. And
trust me.
Close that case.
It actually, look, you cannot close the case on the 5th business day anymore. Right. You can close it on the 6th business day.
On the 6th, okay.
So they have 5 days to ship it back, and then on the 6th day in the morning,
right,
you call and say they didn't ship it back. But
the good thing is that in her its messages, it's clearly
buyer's remorse.
Right.
Clearly, I love the rug. It's great. I just don't want it. I think I overpaid.
And so
buyer's remorse.
But in her case, she said there was something wrong with it.
In her case, she opened the case. Yeah. No, she didn't say it was defective. She said doesn't seem authentic. Oh. You're like, it's not a Chanel bag. It's a wool rug that's actually wool. You know. So
again, if she's unhappy, no problem.
Return
Send it back. Just I don't want to pay to have it shipped.
Yeah.
We got an offer on a T-shirt. We had this old vintage T-shirt, and this guy in England,
new vintage T-shirt.
Sent an offer for like $75, and we couldn't take it fast enough.
Yeah.
And then he just decided not to pay because he saw all the fees he had to pay. You know.
Well, the problem is, like, if people in the UK have never used global shipping. He said, why do I have to pay all the import fees up front? I've never had to do that. And I said, it's the global shipping program. Like, you pay them up front so you don't have to pay them when it gets to the UK. It just comes right to your door.
Right.
Never heard from them again. They haven't paid. I'm about to open an unpaid item case.
Yep.
You know.
And, I know people in other countries say, well, but, I don't normally have to pay this. But I'm just like, it's your country's laws. I mean,
that's why you have healthcare in the UK.
And we've had issues with someone buy something from us and we would send it like first class, and then they would say the mailman just came and said I had to pay another $10. I don't want this.
Yeah.
And so it comes back to us and we lose money on it because they so
they don't want to pay their customs fees.
This is your country, is your laws, that's the way it is,
Yep.
So whatever.
Yep.
In the forum someone was asking about the unpaid item assistant,
okay,
saying like, how do you do it? What do you set it at? She said that she has it turned on, but what happens is eBay will automatically send these messages to people that don't pay quickly. Uh-huh. And then buyers get angry because they think it's coming from
the
us,
seller. Yeah.
So we actually don't have it turned on.
I don't have it turned on. I never have. And the reason for that is because, here's an example. This is another rug, another little area rug we sold. The woman was like, I'll give you an offer of this price, but I can't pay till August 1st because that's when my, pension comes. That's what she said. And we were like, fine. I'm not going to bother her. I'm going to probably ping her on August 1st and be like, hey, whatever. So I don't want those messages going out. We have so few unpaid items anyway that I just keep track of it manually, like this T-shirt.
Right.
I'm like, okay, tonight at 5:00 I can open a case.
I mean, if we get one a month, I think that would be a lot. And they kind of come in groups, like
right now we have a bunch. Yeah.
Well, we have like three,
which is a lot.
But oftentimes people just take a while and then they eventually pay. But it's just better, I think, just to do it,
manually.
I think if you were one of those people that sold, a lot of wholesale stuff and had 200 things sell every day, and that would be a whole lot to handle. Probably.
I mean, I honestly think moving forward in the future, eBay needs to get rid of allowing people to pay later. Like, it makes. Yeah. Where else can you do that?
Right.
I can't think of a single other place other than the general store in the smallest town in the smallest state of the United States.
If you make an offer, then you need to have that amount of money in a PayPal account. And when you make the offer, it holds that cash.
Right, because they hold cash from us when people start a return.
So, this idea that you can make an offer and then pay later is silly. So.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. All right, let's answer its questions that were sent in.
Hey, Jay and Ryan. It's Adam from the Mysterious Caravan. It's been a while. I've been actively listening to your show and still, of course, been enjoying it every week. I just have a question for you guys, and I'm curious if anybody else has anything to say about this, but do you guys have, like, a kryptonite, like, when it comes to buying stuff? Like, stuff that you buy because you think it's awesome and you actually kind of just want to keep it. Like, for me, if I'm out at a garage sale, and if I find, like, G.I. Joes from the 80s, or, like, old Legos that are, like, Knight Legos or Pirate Legos, or original Nintendo game type stuff, I have this nostalgia connection to it, and I totally love that stuff. And I buy it immediately, and my business brain's not really turned on because I'm buying it, just because I was like, I gotta bring this home with me. Who knows when the next time I'll see this is. I'm just curious, do you guys have anything that you guys have trouble parting with when you buy it, or is everything just on a constant rotation? Even if you like it, it's probably gonna get used for a little bit, then go out the door eventually. Just curious. Alright. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
Hi, Adam.
Yeah, we interviewed him a couple times. You can go back in our forum to hear it.
Yeah.
But, we actually do not have a kryptonite.
Nope. I want everything sold.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I think other people have that issue too, where they're like, I love plates or something. And
yeah.
Like,
Look, for me, the beauty of being an eBay seller is I get to be like a weird collector hoarder, and it all leaves my house.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, I get to buy all this cool stuff, and I never have to hold on to it. It's great.
I think too, for me, the power is like everything that we pick up, I'm like, this buys my freedom.
Yes, exactly.
And the more that stuff I hold on to, the less of freedom I'm going to have,
I mean, there are things that we find, practical things for our renovation houses and our, whatever. I'll find artwork that I'm like, hey, that might be cool at our house. I'm willing to basically sell anything in my house. Like, I have like one coffee cup I use. I'm looking around, I'm like, I could sell any of this stuff, any artwork on the wall.
Yep.
I'd sell it,
Yeah, so we don't keep anything valuable just for ourselves, and we're just not collectors.
Yeah, but I hear you. It is tough sometimes.
So, that's it for the calls today. We do encourage people to call in, especially people who are not, it's new people. We get a lot of like kind of, it's newbie, it's questions that are easy to find online. But, if you've been selling for a long time, it doesn't even need to be a question. We love to hear from people that have like an experience or a story or a comment that they want to share as well. We love to hear from people that have been on eBay for a long time who can, give other people good information.
Okay, that's it for the podcast this week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation on the forum. Again, you can call and leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. You have 3 minutes to leave a message. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video that shows what sold on eBay and how much it sold for, currently being brought to you by Steven Schultz and his very cute doggies. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube so you always get the latest episode. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye.